Behind every project is a story. As with every season of This Old House, the challenge is finding the right story to tell and the right dream to help someone realize. There's a lot to choose from. House Wrap is a fresh look at the people we've helped and the places we've traveled to over the years. After Hurricane Katrina devastated New Orleans and the Gulf Coast, it was obvious to us we needed to put our energies there. But with so much destruction and whole communities wiped out, where would we start? How could we help? Then, we met Rashida. Rashida Ferdinand was an area artist whose house took on nearly 3 feet of the Mississippi River when the levee failed and flooded the lower Ninth Ward. Like many of her neighbors, she's lived here too long to give up on things.
I have to ask you, what compelled you to come back?
You know, it's home. You know, I have roots here. I'm rooted here, and I feel like this is a place where I need to be. I need to bring what I know, my talents, my skills, my hands and my feet and my legs and my arms, and do what I can to rebuild my community.
With an architect's plan in place, we started demolition.
All right, let's get to it.
This series will highlight some of the challenges you don't see played out on This Old House. In the case of New Orleans, the city's labor force was being pulled in 1,000 directions, and just finding a crew was difficult. We were relieved to find Carl Hythe, a local builder who had worked with Rashida's family before. He would serve as the project's general contractor.
I've lived in New Orleans all my life. I've worked in the backyard with my grandfather as a little kid. All we ever did was work on historical houses in the French quarters, and then we moved on to the Garden District.
Well, that knowledge of historic houses is going to pay off because we're in a historic district.
Right.
Finding Carl was a blessing, but then came the curse. With the strain on the labor pool, Carl couldn't keep his crews together, and the schedule started to suffer. Rashida had to fire him.
So we don't have a licensed GC on the job site right now.
I've been just taking over for the past couple of days, trying to make sure things keep moving.
Rashida did plenty of work, often alongside our own experts. But the loss of a key team member was enough to give even Norm some pause.
You know, I'm worried. You know, we're switching general contractors in the middle of a project. That's never happened to us before. And with the labor shortage down here, you know, and a change of staff on this end, that could be a problem. We're thankful for you.
Eventually, Rashida turned to her framer, Richie, to take over the project, and we had ourselves a new GC. We didn't have time to get him settled. We had other things to work on. We had partnered with Habitat for Humanity on a second, much larger project. It was Musicians Village, an idea conceived by 2 of the Big Easy's native sons.
The whole reason behind the name Musicians Village is the musicians that live here. About 80% of the inhabitants are musicians. And Branford Marsalis and I were actually on our way to Houston to go see the evacuees at the Astrodome. And we decided that we needed to do something to try to bring the musicians back.
The goal was to provide a haven for many of these artists to return to New Orleans, into brand new homes of their own, and to revitalize the music scene so important to the city's identity.
So how many houses do you plan to build here?
Well, here we will be building 72 single-family homes and 10 elder-friendly duplexes.
Saxophonist Branford Marsalis showed us plans for a community center being built in his father Ellis's honor.
In this area is the performance space.
Oh, great.
In this space, the stage will be here. And along here are balcony seating, upper and lower.
Before there were Iron Chefs, they were the This Old House experts. And Tommy, Roger, and Rich joined Kevin and Norm in New Orleans to lend a hand.
So what have you been learning?
Everything from framing out houses, putting up some siding, doing a little roofing.
That sounds like all outside work.
Yeah.
This is not a good day for outside work. Why don't I get you inside where it's dry and I can teach you how to do some trim work?
Sounds great.
Now everyone, when you're working the soil, let's take and fluff it up a little bit with a rake, and then level it out. But don't walk on it and pack it down. I want it nice and loose so that the roots can grow out into it.
Part of Habitat's philosophy is the idea of sweat equity, where the soon-to-be homeowners do some of the work themselves. One such participant was to be the village's youngest homeowner, Calvin Johnson.
Now, part of the deal for you to move in is to put in some volunteer hours, 350 hours, either on your own house or other houses in the area. How's that been going?
It's going pretty good. I learned a lot of things. You know, first and foremost, I don't like heights.
Well, I got a deal for you. Let's learn how to put on some siding.
All right, let's go.
All right, Calvin, that's how you do it. You follow those steps all the way up, and it should come out great.
Thanks, Don. I appreciate the lesson.
All right.
Beyond just hammering nails, there were plenty of moments to remind us of what the Musicians Village project was all about.
The only thing I thought I could make an impact on was the musical community. I know these guys, and it just felt like a natural step.
Harry, we love people who work with their hands.
Yeah, man.
Back at Rashida's house, everybody loved the work Richie, the GC, was getting done, except for the building inspector. Turns out, the central stairway he had built was a total mess and had to be torn down. It was obvious. Richie had to go. Even with that second major loss, things were still moving forward.
Now, we used to only have one doorway, but now we have three. And this porch actually spans the original house, the old shotgun up front, as well as the new Camelback addition that we're putting on the back.
In this series, we overcome the unexpected. A friend of a friend suggested a third GC. Can you blame us for being skeptical?
All right, now you've been with us 2 weeks. Are you going to stick with us?
I'll be here through the end.
All right.
And there it was. Third time's the charm. Another positive sign that we had turned a corner was that we were now starting to consult with the local craftspeople who had finished fitting out our historically faithful remodel, like lamp maker Drew Bevelow.
So are you still doing custom work? If I came in with a drawing, not that I can draw, but if I did, could you make something for me?
We absolutely can. If you come in with a drawing, just like my grandfather said, if you can draw it, I can make it.
So once this all goes together, that looks like it makes the bottom of the light, and then obviously some more assembly for the top of the light.
Exactly.
This series celebrates craftspeople like Drew, who represent some of the best artistry the country has to offer.
Wow, look at this.
As things neared completion, we took time to take stock.
Yeah, this room looks great.
Nice high ceilings. It matches the rest of the house.
Now on the first floor, our first floor bathroom is finished. Now Rashida, our homeowner, is an artist and she works in ceramics. So she actually made this sink. Now that is the ultimate do-it-yourself project.
As with every season, New Orleans was filled with amazing transformations. And this series offers viewers a chance to go along for the ride, enjoying the incredible results all in one memorable hour. So in the end, Rashida was able to return to her neighborhood in what we hoped would be a sign of things to come.
And Rashida, you are back. How does it feel?
Kevin, it feels great to be back, and I'm so grateful and thankful to everyone who's given so much support to help me make this happen and be a part of this rebuilding process.
And over in Musicians Village, we helped welcome Calvin into his new home.
Calvin, these flowers represent beauty and renewal. May each day in your new home be filled with the same beauty and joy you bring to the lives of others.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
This Old House in New Orleans, just one collection of stories you'll see on House Wrap, a new show from the makers of This Old House.